Yay Networks.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the Fitish podcast. I would like to apologize for those of you that have been disappointed if we've ever taken a week off.
Yeah.
How dare we do that?
Yeah. Well, like, especially because we have so much to share. Well,
Do we?
We withhold. Yeah.
Do we? You're hanging on to good?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Well, y'all will be thrilled to know that I was able to meet every female in Francisco's office last evening at a big event they had it was the grand opening for the agency franchise in Dallas. And Mauricio shamed me immediately out of the gate, just humbled me. And that was our only interaction. When you introduced me to Mauricio, which if you don't know, he's started the whole agency and he, I guess, found reality television fame for being married, now apparently
separated,
no longer married, to Kyle Richards. Yes, so he was on that housewife show. But anyway, so he came up to me and he gave me a kiss on the cheek when Fran was introducing us and, and spoke to me in Spanish. And I said, hey, I'm Jenna. Oh, you don't speak Spanish? No. Oh, why not? I don't know. I mean, what am I supposed to say to that? I wish I had a better answer. So basically cut my legs out from underneath me. And then that was our only interaction. So that was wonderful. And I'm humbled and I need to learn Spanish. And Fran tried to defend me a little bit, which was very nice of you and your American girlfriend.
I'm always defending you.
But y'all know that listen to me all the time how much I got to just stop saying, because I actually hate that I don't speak Spanish. I don't like this about myself at all. I think it's like a fatal flaw of mine. I don't like it. I'm trying, but am I trying? I'm not taking lessons.
Are you asking?
How am I trying, right? I'm not really trying. And then I'm just mad that I'm not, right?
Yeah.
It's like saying like, man, I want to lose weight. Like, are you working out and eating better? No. I will say this. You speak in Spanish, even when you were speaking to that woman last night and she was so polite to speak in English. I didn't want her to speak in English because I'm understanding so much more when you're speaking in Spanish because I actually really listen. I only stop listening when I get too drunk or too tired. You know what I mean? Because you're just trying to translate listening. It's like you have to be really like intentionally paying attention to the conversation. But I like listening to you speak in Spanish because I do understand. I don't know if you believe me. So much more. What if this was all a ruse, by the way? What if I totally understood everything? We wouldn't be together anymore, I'm sure.
No. I think that scenario is very unlikely. And I think I will find out like in a nanosecond.
If I spoke Spanish?
Because you have everything but a good poker face.
Oh, no. You don't have me figured out at all. You don't have me figured out at all. You read those stories like the long play when people find out they've been cheated on and done wrong, and some people can't contain it. No. I could hold something for a minute.
Yeah.
But not this
for
long.
A minute.
Yeah. Not this long.
Yeah, 60 seconds.
Like 5 years. Like, wow, she's been holding on that she's been Spanish for 5 years now.
60 ticks.
This is the thing. I have not met anyone yet, speaking about learning another language, that has given me really good, like tangible advice. What works for people just doesn't work for me. I think the thing that's best for me truly is taking lessons with someone and then probably trying to speak more and looking foolish because I definitely understand so much more than I used to. But everyone's like, yeah, just watch movies in English with Spanish subtitles, and things like that. And I think that's a lot. If that makes sense.
That's what I do.
But
I speak a lot and sound foolish circa 2006. So you just have to do it until you stop sounding foolish.
Yeah. All right, I will. Well, anyway,
there's no hope.
Back to your party. I really enjoyed it last night. Imagine asking your partner if there's a theme. They say there's no theme. They don't know if there's a theme. You don't get any feedback on whether there's a theme or not. You joke with them, oh, I bet the theme is Denim and Diamonds because, Texas. This is the kind of theme that people tend to have, which is just really not a vibe for me. I don't really have a lot to fit the Denim and Diamonds theme.
You love both of those things. You're denim lover and a diamond lover. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is the thing about Denim and Diamonds, though. It's never just like jeans and a t-shirt and like a diamond ring. It's like full sparkle and cowboy boots. And I don't have any cowboy boots.
And I was thinking in the back of my head about that outfit that you bought and then you returned.
I know, right? So was I. I love that you were thinking about that. It was so expensive, though, and I don't need to be doing that with my life. But you're right. I could have worn that. It would have been super chic. It was a denim suit that I bought a while back and had buyer's remorse because it was really expensive, even though it was, you know, when things are like super cool that you get why it's expensive, but then you still can't justify it. So I returned it.
If you want to have a picture of it, just Google Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears in denim. That's going to give you a really good image of what.
No, it was like a shirt suit. Like it was chic. It was very cool. But anyway, yeah, so we roll into this party and of course everyone is in theme with like sequined hats. I mean, you would have thought they were going to the Beyonce concert, which is also this week that I'm going to as well. So, by the time you're listening to this, I will have already gone to Beyonce. So yeah, I have quite the week to digest right now. But yeah, I couldn't find anything silver. So yeah, it's a lot of themes. And if you haven't gathered, I don't particularly love a theme anymore at my old age, you know? I mean, I like Halloween, but I don't love a theme party. I think it just can be really hard to get dressed. And then you go spend money on something you're never going to wear again. So yeah, I was not dressed in theme and everyone was in like sequins and cowboy boots and I wore like a white dress and some boots.
But it was such a great party. I think
it was so cool, by the way.
Megan and Damon did an amazing job.
I just don't understand. I miss the party planning gene somewhere. I mean, I missed a lot of genes in my genetic makeup, but I miss the party planning gene because I am not good at it. I mean, I think back to even planning your surprise party. I mean, I think it turned out good. Like I had lots of details, but last night was awesome. I mean, they had this neon cowboy and cowgirl, so cool, like installation for you to walk through this tunnel. And they had a giant steer there that people were taking photos with or getting on for pictures. I did not do that. I'm kind of beyond my riding animals phase, I think. But people were taking photos because obviously there were a lot of people in from like LA and Las Vegas and all these places. So they got to go full Texas on the theme. A DJs, a cool photo booth. Light up drinks, margaritas,
such a cool
branding of cowboy hats. Like every element of it was so great for what, 30 employees?
Yeah.
And everyone brought multiple people with them.
Yeah, so I think total we're like above 100 people there. But such a cool group of people, like all the stories that you hear about these agents that have joined the agency. And
you were telling me one of the agents that sold is in Vegas, right?
Yeah, so for me, all of this is like it's a new place. It's my new home, so I don't know very well the dynamics between people and not what I've been used to for sure. But yeah, so Czar, he is the managing partner in Las Vegas, but he was telling me a story. We were around the same age, and he was around 26 years old, and his company, he was working at Sotheby's at that time. He received an email. And that email like sounded like a huge scam, like those Nigerian prince
that
and
wants
something
to
like
send
that.
you money.
So it was like, hey, I saw that house that it's 17,000 square feet. I'm very interested. Blah blah blah. So, like he was like, is anybody gonna answer this?
Everyone
email?
thought it was a scam.
And I was like, no. Everybody thought it was a scam. So he just.
How much was the house?
I don't remember the number, but it was astronomical.
Yeah.
Because it was a 17,000 square feet house in Las Vegas, but still a huge house. So he kept in touch with these, like they literally became like pen pals. Like for a year and a half, they were emailing back and forward, and it got like to a point that they were like very friendly. Like, hey, how's like your day going? Like, great. Hey, do you remember about that 17,000 square foot house? I'm really interested. I think I'm moving partially to Vegas. Let's do it. And it's like, well, so the assistant called him and he's like, hey, okay, so we're arriving at this time and this time and this time. And this is our tail number. Great. Czar, he's like, but what's the flight number? And the assistant's like, I don't have time for jokes right now, Czar. I give you a tail number. That's all you need.
Yeah.
And Czar was like, what's a tail number?
Oh, he didn't even know that's
no,
like
he was young, like
someone flying private.
Yeah. So, long story short, he gets into the airport.
Not short,
he doesn't know who's he meeting. So he sees the plane land. These guys come out, huge bodyguards, and he sees Michael Jackson
That's amazing.
coming out.
Yeah. So he becomes Michael Jackson's realtor.
He becomes not only Michael Jackson realtor, he becomes Michael Jackson really good friend.
Oh, really?
Like,
well,
so
yeah. I mean, that would make sense, I guess. They've been emailing his pen pals for a year.
Holidays together, like really, really heavy friendship. And one time in a conversation, Michael Jackson's like, well, hey, Czar, are you poor? He's like, Michael, like, I'm 27 years old or 26. I drive a G-Wagon.
Yeah, I'm not
make
poor.
6 figures. So you're poor. So, so like, well, like
Czar's like thinking he's on top of the world, and Michael Jackson's like, you're poor.
Czar,
Yeah.
do you need a check? Do you want, like, I just say it. Like, you're my friend. I like you. I was like, what about you just send me referrals?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I have a friend that is going to come
For
in town.
another residency?
So no. He's like, she's coming to work here. And Zara's like, well, I'm sure he's like a babysitter assistant or someone.
Yeah.
She's going to give you a call. She calls him. He's like, hey, Zara, Michael, give me your number, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking for this, and that. I'm doing a residency. Britney Spears, Mariah Carey.
Wow.
Like everybody.
So he got all the business.
He got all the business from all these
and
people.
Michael would still think he's poor, but yeah. That's so cool.
So it was such a cool story of the way that, and that is the name of the game. Like, yes.
Relationship
chances,
building.
Exactly. Take all the chances. Never judge. Yes, right now in this day and age, there's a lot of scam. But
what y'all do is so hard, though. Like, that's kind of the conversation. I was talking to another agent who lost like some, huge deal that they were working on. And, you start looking forward to the commission because you literally like live and breathe. You eat off of commission as a realtor. I think that's kind of the misconception. Everyone's like going to get a real estate license and, one friend that's selling a house, and that's awesome. But I mean, you got to, go and go and go, right? I mean,
yes.
it's very complicated.
It's not as easy as it seems. Like, you're dealing with the biggest asset that people have. And people have gotten very well trained on know what to ask and what to expect out of realtors. So it's not like, oh yeah, I'm just going to sell a house, put it in the MLS and wait until you get an offer. You have to be very proactive. You have to have a good network. You have to be organized.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Do we need to tell my staff to be quiet? No. Oh, good. I was about to be like, ladies. Yeah. They're chatting. We have lots of fun events coming up. We're doing our Halloween shoot. Speaking of which, what's interesting is I don't want to be negative, but, I think that I've been kind of going through this phase in the last year or so, and really lately. And I think, Danny, who works for me and we've become friends, have talked a lot about it. We've been so disappointed with people, and we don't like ask for a lot of favors, and I think that you just start realizing, I don't know why this is, so I'm not about to give you any answers to this story, but I think it's just kind of this life lesson, right, that can be applied anywhere. But we have found that the point is, we don't really ask anyone that we know, like relationships, speaking of, relationship building, right? Just sometimes every now and then you'd be like, hey, can y'all please come to this event? Like, we haven't sold enough tickets, or we have this Halloween photo shoot on this farm and we need, 20-ish people to be there. And it's not an easy ask, I know sometimes, but we never do it. We literally never ask anyone for favors. And I can't tell you how many people in the last few weeks that are close enough on a business level where we have like supported their business, when they've reached out to me, hey, can you come by my new whatever studio? Can you, will you gift our pop-up workout event? Will you do X, Y, and Z? And we do it because we want to support other businesses, especially if it's just by showing up and, posting content or giving them product. When I tell you every single one of those people we've recently done a favor for said no. And we know that it's not because they're like not available. They were just like, no, not, I can't, no, whatever, and these are people that we know were like, that they could have if they wanted to. And this has happened so much over the years, and it's been so discouraging because I can't tell you how many times when, in the beginning of my radio career, as I started growing a social platform, that I would have friends, right? People that I was already friends with ask for little favors. Hey, can you host this charity event? Can you do this? Sure. I was always saying yes, because I knew that, A, that's what you do for a friend, and I don't want this to come across, and this is what's hard, right? That people will frame it as, oh, well then now you're going to throw it in my face or it's going to come back. I'm like, no, it's not throwing something in someone's face. It's like, isn't that like the expectation that people have? I mean, if I'm lending my time for free and using my platform to promote the charity that you're involved in, right? And because we're friends, I would think that at some point when I launch a business, that's kind of how you would repay that favor, right? Just by promoting it, by being present, by being supportive. And I just can't tell you how many, I would say some of my close friends have always been supportive. I mean, you can't expect them to like support every single day of their life, but a lot of my friends have been supportive. So this kind of just pertains more to people that had businesses that I supported at a certain period of time before I launched a business. And then when I launched a business, the favor wasn't returned. And oh my gosh, I've gotten to this point that I'm like, fuck that. Like, fuck helping anyone anymore. To a certain extent, it makes you so jaded, right? It makes you so discouraged because it's almost just like people want you when they want you for their needs. But isn't this how favors work?
So it's very funny because that's the idea of a favor. But I think something that it's innate in the human race is that we have very short memory when it comes to the people that have done favors for us. And I'm talking about in general, like there's people that are much better than others, but there's a lot of people that have no recollection of the favors that you've done because it's very convenient. And the worst thing that you can do to those people is remind them about
Oh, no,
that.
I don't remind them of it. But now, Danny's been with me for 5 years, so she's now seen a cycle of this. And it's really, shame on them because, that's burning bridges, right? But and I'm not saying I do a favor left and right for every favor that's asked anymore, but it makes you so jaded and it's so disappointing because, I've been so supportive of people's, whether they open a workout studio or a bar or a restaurant or whatever it is, and then it's just never really returned. And I don't know why that is, and it's actually, maybe I'm super sensitive, okay? We know this about me. I'm super sensitive. And I also think that a flaw of mine is I will write people off, right? But I believe in this sense of like, stop putting energy into things that aren't giving you, the energy back, right? Same with kind of motherhood. And so I hate to say it like, oh, Jenna holds grudges and writes people off. It's just that if I was a good friend to you, and was there if you needed me, but then you're not like returning the favor, I just don't even want it in my life anymore.
What do you mean by motherhood? You're going to hold grudges with Remy because he's not returning favors?
No.
Mean!
You know what I mean with motherhood, just like how I've referenced how I had so many people I thought were medium to great friends that I felt that I was really trying to be present for their kids in general, not just on the birthday party, not just the once a year, but all the time. Like, let's go eat early, kind of accommodating that. And, I had a lengthy conversation actually. We talk about a lot on the show, and I have a really close girlfriend of mine who was kind of hurt by me speaking about that. And, even though I explained to her, I wasn't really specifically talking about her, but, by talking about how I wasn't specifically talking about her, but I definitely I owned it. I was like,
but the suit fit.
The suit fit. Well, it was more that, I think that her and I had a really nice, this is what's so nice about a good girlfriend, I want to say, is that this, and I'll just, say who it is in particular because it's Claudia and she's going to listen to this. The thing about my relationship with Claudia that I've always really liked is that we can have really honest conversations with each other. Like over the years, there's been a couple of occasions I think that she's like, this hurt my feelings, or I could say this hurt my feelings, and we kind of talk about it and it seems okay. And she brought it up to me when we were at the Kid Craddock event. And she said, I listened to your show and you said something about, kind of close friends that you were like bathing their children and like they didn't come around and see Remy. And she's like, I feel like you were talking about me. And I go, well, not specifically about you, but yeah, it was the sentiment is real because I did feel disappointed that, you'd only really met Remy like a couple of times, and she's one of my closest friends. And she was like, having 2 kids, it's just so overwhelming, and I do, and I see that. But I think what she said is, I think she was like, we both need to be better about just like making plans with each other and reaching out. And I owned that as well, because I feel like that is true. I feel like you get in your own head when you have a baby, because it is you're more like, but I'm the one with the baby, and now and she's like, but it was easier when you were single because you could accommodate and come, but now you'll see when you have a kid. I'm like, I do. I see her side, and I love her because she's always been a good friend. And even if that feels like a misstep a little bit, or I'm over it, because we had a nice conversation about it, and I agree. So she invited me to go to Beyonce, so we're going. But
so I call the hit.
You call what?
So should I call the hit?
The what?
The hit.
I don't know what that means.
So we don't kill her anymore?
We don't. What? Where is that even coming from? No, we don't kill her. No, but the thing is, I think with true friends, you should be able to have honest conversations about how you feel. You know what I mean? How you feel about your friendship, and if something hurt your feelings. And you would hope that they would respond in a way that's civil and is like, yeah, we both need to do better about getting together. So it was really nice. I think everything's good, and until I talk about it. But I think it's just more out of sadness sometimes, like you just miss what we used to have, and you don't get to see people as much anymore. And that's something a lot of people don't talk about, is how much changes once you have kids, and it's kind of hard to come to grips with. But anyway, we're in a good place for now.
Yeah, no, I think
unless I hear
amazing.
Otherwise. Yeah, no, I love
think
her.
She's amazing. And once again, what?
Go ahead. So when he tells us, like, he keeps doing this to break, I was going to take a break, and then I was going to end and take a break.
The things that I cannot see past the lights,
The lights are blinding. The lights are blinding the talent.
Yeah, and I'm sleepy today.
You are. You're sleepy. Okay, well, we'll give you a pass today. Yes. All right, we actually are going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment. I am sweating. Welcome back. I am sweating under these lights. How do you feel, talent?
I feel good. Like, I feel just tired. Like, I think it's been a long week, and it's still like a lot more to do. Mm-hmm. Like, we have a month before, well, when this airs, is going to be 15 days from Formula One, and there's still a lot of things that we need to prepare for that. So
when I tell y'all, I have asked Francisco multiple times about going to Austin for Formula One, because he's the main agent on this project and kind of putting on the whole event. And he keeps downplaying it, like, oh, it's not going to be that much fun. And I'm like, does he just not want me to go? Because you've been my +1 to every cool thing I've ever gotten to do in the last 5 years. And I feel like you don't want me there.
Babe, I would love you to come. The things that, something you don't understand is, I tell you I love you to come, but I know you very well. I'm going to be NonStop. It's to date. It's a month before we don't have a place to stay, even in my team. So we're trying to, like, things are kind of falling into place little by little. And tickets, I'm missing 2 tickets for people in my team. So we're trying to gather all those things together. It's nothing to do with the fact that I don't want you to come out. I always love for you to be by my side.
That didn't sound like that. It sounded like you said, I'd love for you to be there at the beginning and the end, but you sandwiched a bunch of negative in between.
There's no negative. I'm just telling you the logistics. I think you need to listen to exactly what I'm saying.
But you don't have a ticket for me, so then I'm not going to go.
No, but I'm pretty sure I will be able. This is what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to make things happen. I'm just letting you know what the stress of this whole situation is. It's nothing negative. It's not that I don't want you there. I would love for you to be there. There's just a lot of incognitas.
A lot of what?
Incognitos. Like a lot of questions that haven't been answered yet.
Incognitos?
Like incognitas. Google that.
Well, I'm aware of what incognito means in the English language. What's incognitus?
So just like word? Questions. So things that haven't been, things that we don't know exactly. This is why my Spanish
sucks, everyone. What does this mean? Google it. Tell me.
Babe, I'm about to tell you. So it's something that we don't know yet. There's still a lot of questions without answers.
Oh, great.
So that's where we're at.
Spanish word of the day.
Yeah.
Right?
Incognito.
So I posted, I was thinking about trying to do more content in general, but I think I find my life, I don't want to say boring, but when it's your own life, you just are like kind of question, why in the world would anyone be interested in watching, like a vlog or a day to day? And so I posted about, what would y'all like to see more content of? And first of all, I got so many responses, which was crazy. I was trying to screenshot and I'm going. I have like 20 pages of screenshots of this. And the most common thing, there were a lot of good things on there, but the most common thing y'all want to see more of is just like Remy, family, Remy.
There was a bunch of Fran.
I said family.
Yeah, but it was Remy, Fran, Remy. I saw.
Okay, we can go through that. But so I was saying to Fran, I was like, we're gonna have to start hoeing Remy out with some like fashion content.
100%.
But did you hear about this new law that was passed, by the way? It's so interesting. And I love when I start giving y'all facts without all of the facts to back it up. But it was just, like in my brief late night news reading. But I don't know what the law states in Texas, but a handful of states have started rolling out laws that, especially for situations like this, when someone is monetizing their social media, but their child is in a certain percentage of the posts that are being monetized, that like it's something like 30% of that income, 20 or 30% of whatever you're getting paid for that has to go into an account for them. So really interesting because they think that it needs to protect children and go towards their future, which I'm, totally on board with. But yeah, really fascinating. So yeah, a bunch of states. I mean, I'm sure Texas is probably like last on that list as it is with like, cannabis legalization.
He was asking me the other day, so what happened with the proceeds of that Gerber commercial, the Gerber post that I was part of it? Like, I think it was pro bono.
The proceeds? Oh, well, I'll tell you, the proceeds are going towards every fucking thing for him anyway.
It's exactly right. Like, I think
that's interesting.
You should show whoever made this law is like, do you know that 80% of what I make goes towards that motherfucker?
I think sometimes, though, it has to lean this way because it is protecting. You do hear these horror stories, and I've heard it from friends in the influencer community in general, that people will be out to eat with their kids. And I know you all love Remy content, and I want to give Remy content if you love it, but I also try to toe the line of like not NonStop Remy, right? Because it is so personal and, I kind of go back and forth on it. I mean, I've chosen to share him, but, you will hear these stories about influencer families. I mean, they are getting their kids dressed up. They're sitting at a table. They are making them pose for photos for hours and it's miserable. And I don't do that, with him. I don't get him dressed up to take a photo. I try and get photos organically, like when we're out and I hand Fran the phone, like take a photo of Remy and I, like most of us probably do. But, I'm not really putting all the effort into that content and because it feels so unnatural. And you hear about kids, I mean, think about some of those stories you read about these TikTok families. It's awful, what they're doing to the kids and their kind of props. And so you got to kind of have a law that at least protects that group. And yes, I mean, obviously, I think most parents that are posting kids in general are probably really good parents and you're doing the content and you're making a living. And a lot of that money is going to take care of the kids. It's buying food, it's buying clothes, it's going to school, it's going to activities. In general, obviously, our income is going to Remy. I mean, I go to the mall the other day. I need something for an event. I literally walked out of the mall only buying him some cute clothes. Can't resist. I can't resist a pair of baby loafers.
No.
You're going to show me a pair of baby loafers and I can't buy those?
So cute.
Yeah, I love buying him clothes. So anyway, yeah, interesting law. But yes, I think if y'all want to see more Remy content, I think that's great. I got to figure it out. They like you translating reggaeton music, so we can do some more of that. Fran is upset that our video didn't go viral, but I told him we have to do it more than one time, like do it. It's about the consistency. You were even saying that shit last night to a guy that I guess has created a really nice real estate TikTok account out of Austin. And he's like using my words. He's like, you know what you're doing right? Consistency. And I look over at Fran like, you fucker. Like, this is what I say to you every day. Like, let's go film some real estate content in Spanish. And I think you'd create a really loyal following, but you can lead them to water. Do you have expressions like that in Spanish?
Yeah.
What is it?
We say it in English. You can lead them to water.
Do you know what it means?
Yeah, of course.
What?
That, babe. Like, are you Miss Rachel right now, or what? Of course, I know what that means.
I was just wondering if because the expression's weird, and I think that I've always. I'm not trying to make fun of you. I'm saying that's like the hard thing about these expressions that we use in English. Like we learned that growing up, right? Like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink. Is the full expression, and then it gets shortened into like you can lead them to water, but it's just a weird kind of archaic expression, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense actually. Like now in the time that we live in, like you can lead them to water, but. That's all. I was just wondering because you have so many weird expressions you've tried to teach me about the clown, like the clown carrying you away.
You know, it's different right now. Like,
but
we're
we
the
don't
same
have an
age.
expression about a clown carrying someone away.
Yeah, but that's that's very colloquial. Like when you, like the clown is about to carry you.
And that's like when someone's going crazy.
No, when you say like if I tell someone the clown is about to carry you, it's because either I'm gonna beat the shit out of him or he's going to. Some harm is going to happen to him.
Oh, I thought it was just like a mental illness.
No.
Thing like the clown's carrying you away. That would make sense though. Oh, I see. So it's like the clown's about to carry you away means like I'm gonna beat your ass. Like you're mad.
Yeah, or something's gonna happen.
I'm gonna kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, that's scary.
Yeah, it's, clowns. But so it's funny because yeah, like we're the same age. But yesterday I was having a conversation with a coworker of mine.
Excuse me, you are 6 months older than me.
She is like in her mid-20s, and she's wearing one of those trackers that people are putting in their bodies to track like glucose and stuff like that. And I asked her, hey, like, what's that? And like, oh, it's for tracking, blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, I thought you were part of the Matrix. And she looked at me like, what's the Matrix? And I was like, the movie, Kenny Reeves, about this whole thing, that this is just like a augmented reality of something that doesn't exist, blah, blah, blah. Never heard of it.
Wow.
It's like...
We're old as shit, Fran. I mean, this is the reality. I think 40 is a little disconcerting for me, to be totally honest. I've never had an issue with my age. I was so thrilled to be 30 and even 35. All of it's been so great. I don't know. There's something about 40 that I think just your life's like kind of half over at that point, and it puts a lot into perspective. I think about, are you happy with where you're at in your life? And I think that I told you the other day that I was doing something and I felt like it was midlife crisis behavior, and it dawned on me.
Your valet?
Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Maybe it is midlife crisis.
I bet. Baby, it's not easy. I think we put a lot of pressure in our age. Like people think that certain milestones have to happen when you make it to a certain age. And I was talking to someone else that just turned 30, and it's like, I feel that I'm behind because of these and my parents and my dad. And like, I think everybody grows in a different pace. There is no certain things or life situations that have had already happened. Like, I feel good. I feel good about turning 40, you know?
You do?
Yeah. I'm doing everything I can to stay young. I'm doing everything I can to be as successful as I can. And I'm working very hard to be a good dad. I think I enjoy every day. Try to be happy. Nothing changed.
Well, aren't you just the motivational speaker of the day?
I think I'm going to go that route, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
Will you let me know before?
I'm letting you know right now. Do you need a 60-day notice or something?
I don't like that. I don't like that vibe.
But switch that frown upside down.
I don't like it. No, I'm a realist here. I don't like that motivational. It seems a little scammy to me.
Well, it's because you need an inner happiness growth.
It's like 1 foot in the cult door. You know what I mean? It's 1 foot in the cult door. It's just not. I don't like it. I like the realist. You know, I'm a realist.
You need some happiness.
I'm a realist with like a touch of negative and a touch of positive. I'm a realist. Yeah.
What's touching harder?
Right now in this second, the negative, because I'm almost 40 and you're all like chipper about it, which I think is a lie. I think you're just saying that to be positive. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to process my feelings about it yet.
Just don't.
I didn't
them.
realize it. Do you know what I'm saying? I didn't realize I had an issue with it because I've never had an issue with age. I've been so happy, especially once I got into my 30s in general with birthdays. I don't over celebrate them. It's great. I kind of take inventory of where I'm at, what my goals are. And there's something about 40 for me that I think I'm kind of going, maybe I just thought I would be in a slightly different place by the time I was 40 than I'm in right now, you know? And so I think that's kind of what
But that is.
I've been kind of in a rut, not a rut, but like sort of, I guess, a rut. I don't want to say it negatively with trying to grow the business. You know, I've had a couple of rejections recently with the business and it's kind of gotten me, I don't want to say down, but it's made me just, oof. There's an expression, I think, with certain junctures in business that they say this period of time is kind of like you're treading water a bit, you know, because the beginning of starting a business can be very exciting and any growth is good, right? Like one sale is good. And so you can have these really high highs where when I was growing the business that, you know, if I had a day that I didn't sell anything, it was fine. There was no expectation there. And I think the danger of having a lot of success is that when you go through months or weeks or days where sales are kind of down or you get rejected from like a retailer I wanted to be in or something that an opportunity that I really wanted that I didn't make the cut. You know, it kind of makes you reassess and it's kind of like this humbling experience and it definitely doesn't make me feel negative about business, but I think this is that treading period of time where you're just trying to kind of keep things afloat, especially in this economy and just kind of keep going. So for me to be hitting 40 at a time when my business feels kind of we're good. Like, don't get me wrong. We're not, you know, struggling, but it's just not kind of at moments where we've been just growing really quickly and being like, wow, this is amazing. And then, you know, then it gets a little more trying. And I think that's really hard, but I think that's what a lot of people go through with business. You know, you have a lot of moments of failure and yeah, that's where I'm at. So I think maybe it's just kind of the combination of all of those things. Like, I feel like I used to have more luck even than I do now. Does that make sense? That I used to just have moments of things that would go my way, and lately that hasn't been the case. So
I think you're hyper focusing in that rejection aspect because I think you're still very lucky in many ways. When you see it from the outside, I think, and most of the rejection, for what I understand, it's not based on the success of your business or what your business is based on the fact that these people don't take cannabinoids. So
I'm just going to say what it is. I went through the whole audition process for Shark Tank. I wasn't trying to keep it a secret, really. I wasn't allowed to talk about it. And so I went through months and months of an audition process, and it was super time consuming. It kind of like took all of my bandwidth, right? I mean, I'm talking about essays and pages of essays about your entire personal life, every struggle you've ever gone through. It was really, really tedious and time consuming. A video where I'm pitching for 5 minutes, and I did an in-person pitch audition, and everything was going so great. And then I just didn't make the final cut. And so, you know, they told me that they had, you know, kind of already casted the season. They were going to reach back out next year. And a little more feedback I've gotten, it seems that, you know, they've never had a CBD brand on before. And I don't know if that was kind of what made me not make the cut or not. I think you want closure, right? And I think that's what's so hard about rejection is you just want to know why, like why. And it's so hard when you don't have a specific answer. Like, we didn't like it, like you weren't going to be a good fit, or, you know, we had already filled up. It kind of appeared that they had already filled up the season because I went to this, like I was at the very tail end of it. And so no one I know that kind of went to this audition that I went to made it. And so I'm wondering if they just had already booked everyone because the filming was coming up the last filming session. Anyway, they're very strict about you speaking about it, right? So you're not allowed to share anything about it. I mean, especially if you make it through. So I don't even know if talking about it now would jeopardize getting on next year. I don't even know if that's still something I'd be interested in doing. But yeah, Shark Tank had always been in the back of my head. I thought it'd be a good fit for the business. And so, yeah, I just tell myself, I don't really need the closure, but then you're still always kind of wondering why you didn't make it. You know, have I been in business for too long? Did I have too much success? Are they only interested? 'Cause, you know, you see people on this show that are like, I've sold $20,000 in the last 6 months or whatever, they have these great stories. I'm like, was my story not good enough or too established, or they had already had too many white women on? You have all these thoughts running through your head because they've already filmed most of the season. So they said they would reach back out. But of course, they're going to be very civil, they're going to be very, I should say very brief with their reasoning for rejection, right? Because who even knows? I don't even know if they ever even watched my audition video. So I'm not really sure what happened there. But yeah, I am so disappointed.
Your audition video.
It's taken me some time. I am so disappointed that I didn't make it. And I think what disappoints me the most is that, when you do something privately and you get rejected from it, no one knows about it, right? So, even now telling y'all now everyone knows about it, which is fine because I like to share things with you. But when you, I don't even know why I'm emotional about it because I haven't been that emotional about it. I think about my team, the girls that work for me, because everyone here puts so much effort into, I have so much to do today and I'm crying. Everyone puts so much effort into helping me fly for the audition. Help me get up at 4:00 in the morning, wait in line for 8 hours to audition, to, being so excited, right? It's this high when we heard back, and then I had to scramble and we know they only selected a few people to make it this far along. And then we killed ourselves making what we thought was a great video. All of them were so positive too. They were like, Jenna, this is so good. There's just no way you're not going to get on TV by doing this, And so then to not, you feel as a leader that it's almost I'm most upset because I feel my team's so disappointed in me, and as a leader, I would have loved that experience. And of course, at the end of the day, I say it wasn't meant to be, right? That's how I feel. It wasn't meant to be because we all know that being on a show like that, or maybe you don't know, but it's not always all it's cracked up to be. You're not guaranteed to air. You don't make a deal. You do make a deal and it falls through. There's backlash because of everyone knows all your sales and all your pricing. And there's so many reasons why it may not be the end of the world, but again, and what Fran is saying, it kind of all goes back to this cannabis space. We believe that, if they've never had a cannabis brand on before, even though God, it's CBD, it's a plant, it's aloe, it's topical, it's fine, but it doesn't change the fact that CBD is still super controversial in a lot of spaces. So anyway, yeah, I just think that it took so much bandwidth, and then to not get it of months of this, that it kind of makes you reset and go, gosh, I had been kind of having that in the back of my head for so long. I was 50-50. I didn't know if I would get on or not. So part of me is not surprised. I was kind of thinking it may not. But, Fran was so positive, and Danny and Victoria and my whole team surrounding me, they were like, you're going to get this. We're going to get this. And then to not, it's so hard, it's so hard to put yourself out there like that. And I just tell my team, I'm like, well, obviously it's not meant to be. We pivot, we figure it out. There's other opportunities, obviously, but it still doesn't change the fact that it was so exhausting putting in that work, and then to not get it when it's something that I really wanted and thought would be a really nice boost for the business. Yeah, it's been upsetting. So I wouldn't say I'm thinking about it. I know I seem very emotional. I wasn't thinking about it every single day. I'm not depressed about it every day, but yeah, I was bummed for sure.
I think is that there's no more else besides the fact that is the CBD. They don't understand it.
But you don't know that for sure. You don't know that. You can say that, but we don't know for sure what the reason was. And they also said they'd reach back out in February. So, it is what it is. So, oh my gosh, yeah, please don't message them or say anything. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, I'll put the video out sometime, I guess. I don't know why. Why would anyone want to see? I know, but it's one thing to get through and you share that. You know what I mean? It's another thing. Why does someone want to see something that didn't get me through? Because
you did an amazing job. It didn't, I'm telling you, it didn't get you through not because of the lack of talent or the lack of success. It didn't get you through because it seems a little obvious to me that first, it's not federally regulated.
Yeah.
State through state have different regulations, and it's too convoluted for a investor that it's about to throw hundreds, if not millions of dollars into a business to go through the whole, hey, what's the deal in Colorado? What's the deal in California? What about Utah? So it's just, let's just go for the streamline, something that we can, for that fart filter that you put in your underwear that it's regulated. You can sell it everywhere, you know?
Is that on the show?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes. I use it every night.
I hate to tell you it's not working. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I return a couple.
Anyway, I think, the point of all of this is I kind of work through it. I think it's just when that comes at a time that I have like this birthday and you're just like, oh, maybe I'm not exactly where I thought I would be with my business or with where things are going. I hope that's like all relatable because I think a lot of us feel this way about where we're at. And I think that sometimes you just have to sit down and revamp, right? Like reassess, what are your goals? Let's try different things. It does make me feel good sometimes to look at the connection I have with other people with businesses, kind of realizing other businesses that maybe have more sales than I do, or they seem to have their shit together more than I do. And what we've kind of learned running a business like this is like almost no one has their shit together. Even a big company. I mean, aside from some of these huge Fortune 500 companies, there's a lot of successful businesses out there that are just kind of figuring it out as they go. So, if anything, that should give you confidence. If you want to start a business, yes, it's hard, but everyone just kind of figures it out day by day. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, we're trying to figure out what the next steps are.
But I think the model of this story is like Czar. Shoot your shot and never. Doesn't matter what the outcome.
Shot. He opened an email that happened to be from Michael Jackson.
He shoot his shot about returning the email and stuff like that. Like even if you face rejection, don't stop shooting your shot. Like don't stop. Keep following up with different things, different aspects, different companies, different investors. Like you have an amazing business, and I'm 99% certain that it was that aspect, that ingredient that didn't.
And it's so hard, isn't it? Because it's something that makes the product so great. And it's the one thing that keeps people so hesitant still, on a large scale, for the business. And it's so difficult. I like to think that this play will pay off in the long run once things get more regulated, that this is kind of the risk you take by getting into anything in the realm of cannabis, that there's a way, it's a money grab for some people at these like head shops. They can make a lot of money and then they get put out of business. But, for those of us that are in it for like an actual therapeutic reason and in the long run, but yeah, it's just hard. It's hard to grasp that I am getting that kind of rejection from investors that they just don't want to get involved in that sort of space. And that sucks because I think it's such a great space with great potential and we're doing things so safely and so correctly. So it's hard to sell people on your business. It's tough
because, well, this is a story for a different podcast, but it's just a lot of politics behind that.
Right, sure. But it still doesn't change the fact of like rejection sucks and trying to kind of trudge through it and figure out what's next and kind of reset when so much time and energy, you get worn out when you spend a lot of time doing something and you're just like, wow. Now what do I do? Because I feel also kind of annoyed that I lost so much time to put effort into other things, and so then it kind of makes me, makes you kind of have some self-doubt a little bit.
But does it, in that aspect, I get it. But does it at the same time shows you that you can do an amazing pitch for something else? Like it opened the door for possibilities that you didn't have, or mentally you didn't have that door open. Now you open the door. Didn't pan out the way you wanted, but now that door is open. Now we are going to focus in this type and finding this type of strategic partner that we need.
Sure. I guess it's like dating. It's like,
you start realize what date, you don't it fucking want. Sucks, but now you know that you want to start dating.
No, or like, no, just in general, like you just date and realize what you don't want in a partner until you start narrowing it down into what's going to work. So I wasn't even planning on talking about all of that today, but thanks for listening.
You're welcome.
I was talking to them.
Oh.
Thank you.
I was answering for them.
Thanks a lot for tuning in. We got to go, but we will catch up with you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.